Chapter 8. The first part of the planned 5-day ride took them through a densely populated neighborhood north of the royal palace. Neatly kept two-story frame buildings, often with storefronts on the bottom floor and small homes upstairs, lined both sides of the street. The corners of each block typically housed businesses, temples, schools, or other larger brick or stone buildings. Single-level buildings crammed into the side streets. These structures were built from thin planks with gaps between each board. Children in threadbare clothes played tag in the narrow roads, darting out of the way when a donkey-drawn cart clomped by. This must be where the serving class lives in the city. Bach set his jaw and continued riding. He had to keep his eyes on the road to avoid trouble. People dashed in front of the riders, almost daring the horses to trample them. The spaces around the sidewalk tables overflowed with customers. Horse and hand-pulled carts moved slowly down each side in the street, with impatient travelers sometimes creating an impromptu third lane in between. They barely had been on the cobblestone road for an hour when traffic came to a halt after an ox cart carrying a load of melons lost a wheel, spilling fruit into the streets. "Are you kidding? Such incompetence!" Kotarian rolled his blue eyes to the sky and sighed loudly. Corrigan and Wingate dismounted and stood beside Isabella's horse. The commander scowled. "Your Majesty, you may wish to dismount. It looks like this may take a few minutes." Wingate stood with his back to the princess to scan the crowd. Bach took that as an invitation and stepped down, too. Becky could use a break as well. He stroked his horse's mane as he waited. Within moments, a short, balding man carrying a string of cloth flowers walked down the street to meet the stalled group. "Lord Emerenil, so good to see you. It's been a while. You weren't so tall then." Aventil squinted at the man. "Tartio Thanalar? It's been a while. Come, let's catch up." He stepped forward to meet Tartio on the sidewalk, away from the rest of the group. Bach couldn't hear their conversation, but by the number of times Aventil slapped Tartario's shoulder, he could tell it was jovial between long-time friends. After a few moments, Aventil came back to the group, which still was stuck behind the broken-down wagon. "Tartio owns a couple of garment shops here in this neighborhood. The Amaranil Mercantile Company has been his supplier for 20 summers. He wanted to catch up a bit, and he said this was for my lady friend, as he put it." Aventil presented the string of artificial red, orange, and white Delilahs to Isabella. "Well, your lady friend thinks they are beautiful." She tied the bouquet to her saddle, removed a single cloth flower, and placed it in the brim of her wide hat. "What do I have to do to get flowers?" Kotarian said to Wingate, but the guardian refused to acknowledge the young sorcerer's attempt to start a conversation. "Come on, Wingate. The lovebirds won't talk with me. The commander already doesn't like me, and there's no way I'm talking to him." He gestured with his eyes toward Tovano, who stood on the opposite side of the horses from Kotarian. "That leaves you and the peasant." Wingate waved off Kotarian. "I have no time to placate your need for attention. Please do not bother me while I am on duty." With that, Wingate turned his back and scanned the streets for possible danger. "Does he ever get off duty?" Kotarian sighed. "I guess that leaves you, O mage of the mud huts. Enthrall me with your wisdom." Bach looked around in vain for someone to cut in. At least it looks like it's just a wheel. If the wagon had broken an axle, we would be here for a while, but I think they should be able to get this fixed momentarily." Kotarian produced a brown glass flask from his saddlebag and threw back a large gulp. "Bach, you are inspiring. Given the choice of your insights and grain alcohol, well." He took another deep drink from the flask and turned away from Bach. I I hope he didn't hear that. I wish Yata was here. She would punch Kotarian square in his nose.
This melon is good.
The true leader sat at Totario Thanalar's desk and sliced another piece of cantaloupe with a paring knife. The merchant's smile turned into a shiver. He quickly glanced back into the store and closed his office door. Are you mad? What if someone saw you come in?
They didn't.
The true leader raised his hand. Blue-green magical energy glimmered on his fingers. He leaned forward. The melon dripped juice on the wooden desktop.
Did you get it done?
Yes. Tatario looked down at the floor. Although I feel awful about it. Lord Amaranil's family has been good to me. The merchant's hands balled into fists. His voice rose. And I know who his traveling companion is. I could be charged with treason. Isbiano may be a merciful king, but how much grace would he show a man who conspired against his beloved daughter? The true leader smiled and ran his hands through his thick hair.
You just handed your friend a necklace for his lady. You didn't do anything wrong.
He stabbed a piece of melon with his knife.
Tell me, Tartio, do you think Imarina is losing its way? That we are drifting from traditions that have brought us centuries of peace and prosperity? Is that the Imarina we want for your children and their children?
Well, yes, but
you are aware that Princess Isabella advocates allowing the serving class to own more property. Perhaps as much as, a garment store. That peasant your friend is traveling with, she would have him be your neighbor.
Yes, I know. Tardio sighed. And that's wrong. I agree that it must be stopped. But I don't want to hurt anyone.
And you didn't. No one is getting hurt here, my friend. Those cloth flowers have a minor enchantment allowing my associates to simply track the princess and her party. That's all.
The true leader fished a carved wooden token of a gray wolf from his pocket. He fidgeted with the token and placed his other hand on Tartio's shoulder.
Trust me, in a few days, you will be glad you are on our side.